Good evening, my name is Veronica Clark, and I am writing on a article about McDonald's. McDonald's began selling 850 Russian restaurants. Um, just a little bit of a background. McDonald's was the first American fast food restaurant to open in the Soviet Union. It's the largest Western corporation to leave Russia over the Ukraine invasion. Um, my first point is customer loyalty. People like or people that like or love McDonald's um, support it, but will not support a business that does not make a statement in supporting the war, specifically the invasion of Ukraine, especially with all the atrocities going on and the things that they're finding out um, that come out in the news as things progress. Um, Therefore, customer loyalty, it was placed on McDonald's. Pressure was placed on them with other companies leaving, like Pepsi, Coca-Cola. There are still a few companies over there that have refused to close down. But this is big. This is big for McDonald's to be pulling out, considering it was, like I said, the first American fast food restaurant to open. The effect of quality on customer satisfaction. McDonald's has always been a popular household name, and it saddens the consumers in Russia who are no longer able to buy McDonald's products. For example, one gentleman holed up in one of the restaurants, refusing to leave. He loved it so much, he did not want them to leave. At this moment, they're trying to procure investors to take over those restaurants. It has been reported also that people have begun selling some of the products on what is considered the black market in Russia. There are still we still have consumers or customers that are still loyal to McDonald's despite them moving out of Russia and would still purchase their products. What we have to understand about McDonald's in Russia is that what we've been told through media and whatnot is that the Russians hate us. Not everybody does. They love American culture. They emulate it, want to be like Americans. They want the American dream. And I do have personal experience living so close to Russia. I did live in Lithuania. And I can actually remember several Russians whose children went to school with my children, and they wanted to know what we thought of them, what we thought of their practices, their presidents. Just wanted to know how what our opinions were on them. So there's this whole concept or idea that Russians hate us, we hate them, and that's not true. That is absolutely not true. At least in the case of the Russians that I met. They really do like Americans, and for the majority of them, do not agree with how Putin runs things. However, their government is different than ours, and it's not as easy for them to speak out against their government. But I'll go ahead and continue. So I'm going to review the company's products from current and past customers. There are people in Russia who do not support the invasion either. We are not being shown again in our media, in our news, if you will, how there are some that do not support it and do not support Putin. But unlike us, they cannot speak out, especially there. There are normal working everyday consumers like you and I, and I can remember reading one article that stated McDonald's was kind of the it place. So think of a restaurant in LA where it's the it place to be seen. McDonald's was kind of like that. You would see people in their extravagant vehicles, their Bentleys, their Lamborghinis, dressed to the nines, just to be seen at a McDonald's. And that's just so odd. But again, it's the American idea. It's I guess everything that America embodies is kind of through McDonald's. People that support McDonald's may hate the politics, but they decide with their wallet. So for McDonald's to be leaving Russia, it is really very upsetting for a lot of people there. There's one quote from the article that states that the fast food giant pointed to the humanitarian crisis caused by the war, saying holding on to its business in Russia is no longer tenable, nor is it consistent with McDonald's values. Considering that McDonald's is, opened after the Cold War, it was kind of a way for them, a way to pave their way into a normal society, a thriving society, that they were welcoming other companies from the United States and from around the world. I think I read in here that McDonald's has over 39,000 locations across the world in more than 100 countries. So normal working everyday consumers does not just apply to the middle class, but also to the wealthy or even upper class. So I think that it speaks volumes with McDonald's leaving. I think this also states that we're not going to put up with United States consumers, that we're not going to support a company who will not stand by and enforce their values. I think they were getting a lot of backlash, and their sales are down from $1.5 billion in the first quarter down to $1.3 billion. So I think I could be wrong, but maybe there has been a negative backlash for them not leaving sooner. But perhaps we'll see. I don't know how this will play out. But I thank you for watching my video, and sorry that it's rushed. Thank you again. Good night.